In this video, we're going to talk about how to find, evaluate, and read scholarly sources for your annotated bibliography in your research paper. So today, we're going to find articles on your topic. We're going to identify the main points of a scholarly article and learn how to do that. And we're going to find out how to evaluate whether the author is credible, the information is current, and the information is reliable for your research topic. And we'll figure out how to easily do this in our search tools. We're doing this because your annotated bibliography assignment wants you to identify, summarize, and evaluate 3 different scholarly sources. And this is all in the service of your final paper, which is going to allow you to use the sources to analyze the information within them, to put forth an argument, which will be the content of your final paper. Now, to do this, we have to efficiently read a scholarly article, and reading scholarly articles is hard, especially if you're not familiar with the subject matter. But there are a few tricks. And the first is to identify the parts of the article, and then to answer within that article, just to always keep in mind that you are answering who, what, when, why, or how. And it may be some combination of these and not all of them, but this is a good thing to keep in mind and to keep you on track and keep you from getting overwhelmed while you're trying to read a scholarly article. Also, we're going to find the answers to these questions by looking at the parts of a scholarly article. And scholarly articles tend to have some similarities in how they're constructed. So you can use these as kind of signposts to tell you where you are in the article and what kind of information you'll find in there. So the first part you'll find is the abstract or summary of the article, and then the author will often give an introduction where they describe what they're going to do in the article and a little bit of background information about their topic before they dive in. And then depending on the type of article they're writing and the type of research they're doing, they may have a methods section where they describe their study design and how they gathered the data or research that they are presenting. Then you may see a results or discussion section where they talk a bit about what happened when they did their research and what they found in the data. And then they may have a section where they talk about limitations or concerns, where they bring up some of the issues that they may have affected the data that they found, and to kind of give the reader a dose of reality about what they're reading. And this is a very professional thing, and something that makes scholarly articles good is that authors should be very upfront about this information. And then finally, you may find a conclusion where the authors talk about what they found out and discuss it in the context of the larger issue. So with that, why don't we dive into the library's homepage and see if we can find an article. So we already know how to look for articles. So we'll go here over to articles and we'll try a search, maybe like Bengal tiger. Yeah, let's try Bengal tiger extinction and see what comes up. Now we're searching in the library's EBSCOhost databases. And these are there's many other databases, but this is one of them. We can see we got 110 results. And the first thing we want to do is go over here on the left-hand side, because we have some articles, some things that we really need from these articles. One of the things we need is that it's pretty recent. So I wouldn't go any further, and maybe this is even too old, than 10 years ago. So that combed us down to 31 articles. And then the other thing your professor has said is they want them to be scholarly articles. And one way you might do this is by clicking on peer-reviewed or academic journals. And then EBSCO will screen out all the articles that are not peer-reviewed. And this is actually a really great way of ensuring that you only have reliable articles if you're using a library database. But in this case, it really cut them down a lot. So we could take a look at one of these articles and we could change the term that we use up here. We may use a term like conservation, but let's see what we've got. So this article is fully available in the database, and this article is not, but it may be available somewhere else. So if we clicked on it, it'll go outside and see if any of our other databases has it. And yes, Science Direct has it. And let's see if this article matches the pattern that we saw right here with the introduction, methods, results, limitations, conclusion. So let's take a look and see if that does that for us. So we can see an abstract or summary of the article. And then if we keep going down, there's a handy highlights where the authors are talking about what this article does that others don't. And now we have an introduction. So we're right on track. It's quite long. But then we have a different section, model structure and demographic parameters. So that's a little bit of a variation. And we can see it's very sciencey, and it may be too sciencey, and you may not understand anything, but they do have a results section. So we can see, if we're just looking at the structure and not the content, we can see that we are back on track with results or discussion. And then if we keep going down, it looks like instead of conclusion, they have a discussion section. So sometimes this is just to note that you will find some variety in the structure, but this discussion section does what a conclusion section would do. So the content is similar. Now, there's a few other things that this article can do for you, or that this database will do for you. And this is if you're talking about, if you're knowing that your annotated bibliography assignment is telling you that you want to look at if the author, you're looking at whether the information is reliable, current, and credible, and it wants you to look at the authors. You can go over here, and this database has the name with a superscript letter, and if you click on it, it shows you what university they're affiliated with. So you can see this person is affiliated with the Department of Life Sciences at Ben Gurion University in Israel, and this person is affiliated with the Institute of Zoology at Poznan University of Life Sciences in Poland. So these people are both affiliated with research institutions, so they're probably credible. Now, if we go back to our EBSCO also does this. So if we clicked on this article, for example, and this one is totally not what we're looking for. Let's see if we can find an article that's a little more on our level. So I'm actually going to redo the search with conservation and see what happens. And we did much better with this one. We have 57 results. We're still peer-reviewed, still 10 years. And maybe we want to take a look at, say, this article right here, talking about what happens when Bengal tigers eat livestock. So if I click on this title, it shows the authors. And in EBSCO, they do another little superscript number. And if you scroll down, they have an author affiliation section, and they have the numbers here, and you can see where they're affiliated with. So this organization, it's the Worldwide Fund for Nature in India, and they're in the journal Human Wildlife Interactions in this database. So peer-reviewed. And this person, while not associated with an institution, a research institution, has apparently is affiliated with a different organization. However, We know that because we clicked it, the journal should be peer reviewed. So we think that while the authors, we're not sure if they are PhDs, researchers, they are publishing in a journal which should have reviewed their findings. So this is kind of the process. You could also Google these people and see if there's anything else about them. And the other thing is that their names are hyperlinked. And if you click on them, EBSCO will show you the other articles that they have published. So this person has published a lot of articles on the subject matter, and you may consider them an expert on that.